Hey folks, how's it going? This year's Granblue Fest has just passed, and despite there being a lot of merch segments, it was still a joy to witness. Like last time, I want to do a bit of a recap and share my thoughts about the news. First thing first, it was great to see that Relink is still alive and it's apparently scheduled for a 2022 release. The game is still in its alpha stage and it looks a bit rough, but the combat elements are there and we got a bit of a deeper look at them in a little training ground. It looks like we'll have a light and heavy attack system, with the heavies being able to be held down for a charge attack, while the R1 button brings up 4 skills to cast, some of which are ground targeted AoEs. In this case, the heal. They've swapped weapons around a bit and we can see the stats for the uncapped levels in there. While the last demo had a showcase of the 4 knights, this time it was the lady's turn to shine. The sky battle against 3 other airships was pretty cool and they've brought up a few more enemies compared to the knight's demo. They look like Empire, but Catalina already has Ares, so story-wise we are at least past the whole Ascension part. It could be the True King's army, it could be that the game has an unrelated plot to the main one. They've kept some text out to avoid spoilers. This time around, the boss was a draft general, and again, the fight is structured pretty much like the mobile game, with the mod bar and HP triggers. This looks pretty damn good and they've just let it run all the way through. Instead of some touched up trailer, we actually got some gameplay, and I appreciate this way of doing things. A Year of Silence wasn't so bad after all.
さあチェインにチェインお当たりかわしてお来たイオも溜まったフルチェインこれは相当いくんじゃないか
一気に削れましたね。
ああどうだファーストゲールおおかなり削った
Now for actual Granblue news. First are the upcoming Christmas characters. Lily puts on a white coat and gets ready to become core in whatever element she'll land on. The second one is Pina, upgrading straight from his R version, while this year's Christmas skin goes to Esther, and damn does she look cute. Event-wise, both Right Behind You and Second Advent are being added to the side stories. This is in preparation for another big society event coming in February that was only announced at the tail end of day 2. It looks like we'll be getting a Spaghetti Syndrome rerun before then because we're about to head to the moon. The event looks focused on Eustace, so this might be his time for a 5-star. The Xenocoro rerun will come with the Souls 5-star uncap and will be followed by a special Premium Friday on Christmas. Fighting the Fried Shrimp will award points that will pull together with the entire player base to unlock some rewards. The first step is an earless R rarity Vikala, and this is a wonderful way for her to get a new skin. The second step is a change to the January Guild War boss from Nyarlathotep to a dinosaur, while the third step upgrades its looks. The Dark Summon boss will become part of the Dread Barrage instead. Meanwhile, the fourth unlock will be a treasure for all players that will provide 300 Rainbow Crystals and 1 Fried Shrimp each month, in addition to the standard Premium Friday rewards. The January story event was announced with an animated trailer and it will be a Robomi one. This time it looks like we'll be clashing against Zoe while Shiro gets a God Gigantes skin. The rest is a bit of smaller stuff, like the tracker for the Eternal 5-star progress and the addition of an icon to show what sort of limited pool a character is from. We also got a preview for Uno and Narmea's rebalances, but I'll go over them in a complete patch on December 21st. Naru is looking good, real good. And here's the big news, the Eternal 6-star uncaps. This will be rolled out gradually, both in characters and which stage of the uncap they can reach. The requirement to begin the process are just being rank 150 plus and having the Eternals at Awakening level 7 and with their 4th skill unlocked. The process will require a new treasure, but we'll have to see what that is. Technically, the 5 stars uncaps also only require 1 new treasure, but that treasure is the Weapon's Soul. Starting on December 21st, Uno, Song, Trio and Quatre will be able to begin the process and will be able to hit level 110. Starting in April, 5th, 6th, Siete and Octo will join the list and get as far as level 130, while Neon and Essa will have to wait until August to begin theirs, and that's when everyone will also be able to reach level 150. It's going to be an 8 months long journey, I hope it'll be worth it. The uncapped art looks amazing, but I'm legit scared of the experience requirements. The rest of day 1 was just merch. Day 2 opens with a 1-hour-long concert from Stella Magna, followed by a Q&A panel for KMR and Fukuhara. Most of it is fluff about working conditions and name translations, but as far as news go, apparently we'll see Albert and Urius again this year after Albert's 5-star story. The Guild War fights are still planned to be 5 to 6 a year, while there's going to be about 3 Dread Barrage events. There seems to be some complaints about Dread Barrage not having an endpoint and people mashing it endlessly, but the endpoint was at 140 million honors. Past that, all that was left were the trophies. We'll see what happens in the next iterations, cause it looks like 140 million was too little, but I do hope it doesn't end up being a repeat of the Guild Wars where you need 1 billion to get all the rewards. Nakamura brings out Arcarum and its sandbox, asking how long they planned its lifespan to be. The sandbox is supposed to be relevant for the rest of Granblue Fantasy, with the endgame players being able to get 1 weapon every couple of months. The limited Purple Crystal is going to be added to the Guild Wars as a reward, so strong players should be able to finish 7 in a year. They are also working to improve the Arcarum Fast Expeditions, but there were no details on how. The 3D Holo concert got some real nice additions this year, and it was really funny to see the Sims on YouTube demand that they enable super chats. After the stats sections and more silly minigames, we finally get to the second news section. UL gets her full trailer for Versus, and she should already be playable, while the next upcoming character is going to be Uno. Siete got pushed off the main stage and relegated to the side stories, while Societe appears in UL's finisher. If I were a betting man, I would say that both still have a chance. For Granblue instead, we'll be getting Feline from Shadowverse as a playable character, probably on the next Legfest, and she'll be accompanied by what looks like a What Makes the Sky Blue version of Sandalphon. A bit of a weird choice since we already have the light 5-star one, but I guess they really didn't know who else to use as a Dark Disciple. Next is the Ox Zodiac, and I just don't know. She looks dumb, but the fun kind of dumb. She looks like a joke design taken too far, and it just works because of it. There was an unused design for Vikala that gave me the same vibes, and this is just too perfect. If they start from fire again, you can pair her with Tsubasa and start your own biker gang. I can't wait for next year for her. Up next is of course Vajira's 5-star uncapped, but all we get is a silhouette for now. Also coming on New Year's, new paid skins for Kain, Danua and Athena, while a bunch of characters is about to get a new EX post from their Granblue Fest banner. On the more interesting side of things, KMR mentioned that the new Arcarum weapons will get some of the restrictions softened in the future. Some raids are getting a bit of a nerf, including Proto Bahamut high level, while quite a lot more are seeing a reduction in price to host or join them, and an increase in player count. The next ones are appetizers for the March update. The first is Luminera Malice, which we've seen in Catalina's Fate episode. The other is the Dancer EX2 class, the Masquerade. Also a player rank increase from 275 to 300 and new MPs. The next is something I hope they go back on. It's AX skills for the ancestral weapons. I'm not a big fan of the RNG on these things, and the ancestrals are a bit of a pain to farm already. One interesting update is going to be the addition of a point system on login, where said points can be traded for limited release items like the Xeno weapons. Also in March, the Evokers will finally get their EM support passives. Too bad it will apparently require an extra item to unlock them. Starting on December 22nd, there will be another Scalip campaign, coming in with 200 extra crystals per day until January 5th, an extension to the Magnafest, and of course the Roulette. The Roulette announcement was a bit weird though, it was just thrown in there with no extra information. No mention of an extra campaign, be it boxes or scratchers, no mention of the rock paper scissors minigame, nor the guaranteed 200 pool at the end. I'm worried that they've realized it was a bit too much and they've decided to scale things down a bit, but we'll have to wait for a proper announcement and see what's going on. That's it for the news, but there's one thing I'm glad was missing, the skin gacha. They might be keeping it for March, or they might have had enough negative feedback about it that they've decided to scrap it. I'm personally rooting for the second option. Alright then, that's it for the GB Fest. Looks like we've got a bit of stuff to look forward to, crossing fingers we get another exciting roulette as well. As always, thank you all for watching and see you soon. Ciao!